just put up on the YouTube. We should be able to just like download the YouTube video.
Yeah, it might not be so easy, but
No, wait a second. No, no. Okay, so here's the thing. If we need to edit it,
don't edit it. Let them edit it.
Yeah.
They can.
yeah, no, no, no. But
if you're really jammed up, then you can ask me. But let's have them try to do that themselves. You can do it in YouTube even.
yeah, I think yeah, because I think Kristen's been doing this, so I think it does work. So if you guys can just go from YouTube link, that's great. So
Okay.
let's keep that. I will bring it up on microphone.
Okay.
And
The other issue is that I don't actually know. No one responds to my email in the class. Like I didn't know who's playing today. It might only be Jack.
okay, and there was one more question. I'll bring it down and I'll go with some.
These guys, are they watching the YouTube link? Apparently, there's a group chat for this class. So
Yeah.
can you get a sense of if anybody else is coming in to play today?
I think.
Because I think some of them, Peter, might even be using footage from previous classes for their presentation, and I'm okay with that too.
So how are they going to broadcast that? Are they going to send me a link or something?
For what do you mean?
Well, no, 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 Peter, don't worry about it.
No, you don't have to worry about this. So what they're going to do is like make a presentation with a Zoom, like a video of them talking about their piece, and then show examples of them playing it
And this is nothing to do
nothing to do with you. And then we're going to watch it, and then we're going to talk about it in our last class. So to answer your email, which I didn't, the last Wednesday class, and next week is a special guest class.
Yes.
The week after, which is the last class, we won't be here at all. The whole thing will be online.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's all.
In this class.
What's a good art supply store in Toronto for buying the foam core?
Based on where you are,
Yeah.
just go to Minoko,
Madoko.
which is right at just before Bathurst on the south side of Bloor.
Okay.
It's right in the neighborhood. Or if they're open, I think you have to do. I don't know what's going on. If you can actually go in, or you can actually order. There's one on Spadina, south of College.
Okay.
I think it's still there. Wordsman's art store.
Yeah.
It's still there, right?
On Spadina, right?
Yeah.
College.
Yeah, South College on the west
What
side.
do you need to buy from that?
He's gonna buy I need the foam board.
You can get $1.
You can get it for $1 for him?
You told me not to go for the dollar store one though.
You want it last.
I mean, you do what you need to do, but yeah, I would just like get $1 and put it on a cardboard. That's me. I will leave that here.
Okay.
If you're not going to use it, we'll just leave it. But it's on, so if you use speaker, we'll just turn the channel on. Okay.
Where's the mic? This one. Can you hear me, everyone?
No, it's not on.
Oh, it's not on. Through the speakers now?
I think so, yeah.
Jeez. But when Jack is playing, maybe you should shut me up.
Don't want your little whispered remarks to be just.
My deep mask breathing. It's like Darth Vader. to be watching on Zoom in the class, can you just respond to me in that email, if like now, if you are coming in to play something today, or is Jack the only one?
From the look of the group chat, I might be the only one, but
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if
Okay.
All right, so I'm just gonna kind of go through it and then probably go back and do chunks that didn't go great.
Okay. Well, it's a good opportunity to hear it in the hall, right?
Yeah.
To listen back. You're gonna find that like there are moments that you want to wait longer than you might.
In like a room.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
like so the room can, have it. Okay.
Okay.
So that's, and then there's 2 more pages.
Yeah.
To go. Okay. You'll get them.
Yep.
Fantastic, man. Really amazing stuff. It sounds great in here.
Yeah, no,
All those things we fixed in your lesson, like those altissimo notes, just holding them. Or you listen to the back, right? Pitch doesn't change. They resonate, and then you come into the sound of the resonance. The one, it was uncertain to me, the G sharp. The choice of vibrato there.
Oh, okay, that, yeah.
Did we decide you were going to, or you're going to not?
We decided I was going to less than I was.
Less than you were. I'm wondering, like, just because of none of the other high notes that happen, they're like laser beams in the piece,
So
right?
this one should also be that?
I don't know. Can we try it? Or that it at least starts that way? Because what I heard was the note, some vibrato, then it kind of like second guessed it, went away, and then it came back.
Okay.
Is that what was the intention?
The intention was just to have a little bit on it, not to go away. So if it went away, that was wrong.
I thought maybe you second guessed yourself, or I wasn't sure what we had discussed, right? In the thing. Some of me feels like non-vibrato is a good element to this piece.
Yeah.
Because it's so texturally thick and there's so many things going on, right? Which sound great. The growl, right? The flutter we'll talk about. Where was where the 3 flutters where I said you can go.
Oh yeah, I just.
And what's the note after that? Is it a low B flat or is it was that?
Oh, there. It's a low C sharp with
C
a
sharp.
growl.
With a growl.
Yeah.
So what I think you need to do is go with the flutter, and then tongue the C sharp for me. Da da, and then can you add the growl?
Okay. Yeah.
Because right now the growl, the attempt is interfering with what the expression of the note is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of like I want to hear the note, and then you can add it, and then we'll get a sense of what that gesture is.
Right.
Love it.
Okay.
I like that much better.
Okay.
Has such clear intention. Okay, so some of the things that I thought could have worked better. Let's work on the page that we talked about. What's the page?
There's a lot of pages.
The articulation with the slow tempo and
do you want the copy?
the tongue stop. Sure, yeah. And then also one thing that wasn't successful that we had talked about was the non-tongue of the multiphonics.
Yeah.
And we got to work on either changing the fingering or stabilizing the A multiphonic, right? That's the one that's giving you the problem?
It's the big one I'm having trouble is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, C3. The C, E, quarter flat.
Oh, that
one.
Oh, okay. I thought there was more. You had more problems with the A one. What's that, like 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, E flat?
That one was. That one is less of a problem less often.
Okay. Let us do snaky.
Snaky. Okay.
Yeah.
can that multiphonic come out from slightly lower dynamic?
Okay.
So it's a little bit more of a gesture. Yeah. Great.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
Keep going. Let's hear the tongue stop. So can the F be a forte piano? Down, yep. Down, yip. Let me hear that. Can you give me more force on the yit? Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I want those to be.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Right? It has so much. I can't come up with the word, but dynamic, right? It has so much shape that it goes down, yep, and then it has a gesture, and so that all the other stuff when you play that, it doesn't have any shape, and that's what's cool about it. And what's cool about it is that it moves microtonally inside the shape, right? And this one doesn't move pitch, but it has dynamic gesture, and that's how we're differentiating. Okay, you want to keep going? So we get the same thing on the G and the same thing on the A. More forte piano. Yeah. Good. Can that one too almost come back? And then what I need it to do, so you have, I'm drawing shapes for you, but you have this block before it, right? This one goes like this. Wah, and it actually gets louder than you were.
Okay.
And you come back.
Right.
For me, the growly microtonal stuff under the slur can actually be softer.
Okay.
Because when you're growling, it gives it a ton of resonance. And I'm not always making the difference between the fortissimo and the forte.
Okay.
Can you try it a little softer for me?
Sure.
I like it. I like it a lot. Good. Can I go dun dum da? You know what I mean? The forte crescendo on the A. A little bit of a forte piano on the A, so that you can grow to something. At the end of the A, it's got to be louder than what you do at the D sharp, right? Because it's louder than fortissimo, and then subito forte. More forte piano and more force coming out of it. Da, 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 yeah, da, yeah, da, da, da. Good. Same thing. Separate the multiphonic, play it softer, and grow more. Give it more shape. Good. Can I have a little more accent? Down, down, down. Make sure you stop the last one. Down, down, dip. Good. I think those, if you can, the little solo hats, can you borderline slap it for me? Down, down, dip. No. I like that.
Okay. I can work on it.
I'm just trying to find a different expression for that articulation, right? It's good because the same's going to go for Albright. This is going to help you so much for the end of Albright.
Right.
Where I'm going to ask you for about 10 different sounds that you have to make based on his descriptions, right? I can't remember what he says, but like.
It was like the honky.
Honky.
Bop it.
No, I'm thinking of the second last page, right before you turn the page, where the meter changes are.
Yeah, honky.
Bam.
Monotone. Yeah.
Right? There's like 10 different kinds of articulations that he asks for and descriptions. You know what I mean? Okay. That's it for the shit. But let's finish the page for the multiphonics. I want to get you to almost to the end of page 5. I don't need to hear the B flats again.
Okay.
But I want to hear the phrased multiphonics.
Yeah. Okay.
Starting from where we just left off.
Okay.
So right, fourth last line or something like that, or somewhere, wherever you want. It doesn't matter to me. Just watch out for it. So when you get to the C, E, put a space so you can place it and like come out of something.
Okay.
Remember forte? We're reining in our forte.
Right.
So that the multiphonic there was great. Just like commit to it, hold it 2 Fs for the entire duration, come down.
Okay.
And then we do our little more dynamic. Da, 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 da. Play me the multiphonic at the end of the first line. What you're missing on this little thing that we worked on, this articulation, is you're not coming back from the initial sound, so you have nowhere to go.
Right.
Down, yip, down, yip. Like that, quite aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You just got to come down more. I think everything with that on top of it, with that kind of accent, needs to come way back.
Okay.
Right? With this solo contemporary stuff, like forte pianissimo feeling, right? It gives the sense of giant accents. Good, that one grows. Dun, dun, and then soft. Softer. Softer on the growl, right? So, and you can put a space after the C quarter sharp.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You just push it out. Dun, dun. Go ahead, same thing, don't connect. It's lower there. Good. Can you play the low note for me? The C. And now the E flat. Oh, no, we're using the multiphonic finger.
Oh, sure.
So which one's the hard one?
The C.
Yeah, right? So let's use our solfege. Play the previous multiphonic.
Yeah.
What do you hear? What do you hear in there? You hear that? No. Which one do you hear? Like which do you gravitate toward?
I think like the middle, like the F.
The F?
Yeah, the F quarter sharp.
Play it. gravitate towards?
Yeah.
Okay, and then play me the other multiphonic with the C. Play the C. Oh. Okay, now thinking about that, singing those two notes, play the two fingering multiphonic fingerings, slurred between them. Does that help? For me, I would go for the other one. In the home. Go for the other one now. Slur it. Perfect.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So sometimes when we're doing these, we have to choose the right note that's going to make the other one easier.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the first one, I feel, is very strong and not difficult. But maybe you're focusing on the wrong note to get it.
Okay.
To go. Because if you focus on that middle F, it's so close to that E.
Right.
And then that makes the E come out. I think that the octave is more, like the detuned octave is more interesting.
Okay.
And it also gets your voice into high in your inside of it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And that the distance, by creating more distance, kind of makes it harder, but actually, as a result, makes it easier for the multiphonics to speak the way they need to. You want to try and keep going? Don't connect the end of the multiphonic to the E flat growl at the top, despite the beam.
Okay.
Even if it takes more time, can you tongue stop all three of the A flat, G, G flat? Da, 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 da. I like it. Good shape on the C. Da, 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 da. Forte piano. Good. Not too loud.
Yeah.
And dum, 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 yeah.
That's the wrong one though.
Beautifully done. Masterfully done. Yep, fantastic. So the only things that I would say to you, again, I feel that you want to put things together so much, like, and get through them. And for us as listeners, we need the gestures. So for me, the definition, so here's the end of the fourth line, right? Look.
Yep.
Right? Like, don't connect it to the multiphonic.
Okay.
Finish the phrase. Right? Because it crescendos beyond forte, and then the multiphonics are only forte. Come down, same thing, and then space. To not connect things that are for me not connected.
Okay.
It's super cool to have the more contrast and juxtaposition.
Right.
I think that your forte growl in general is
Too much, or just
it's too much. It's very resonant. Do you hear that in the hall?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like you're playing two instruments,
Right.
the voice and the saxophone. So you can kind of give a little bit less. And then as a listener, to me, it's just more interesting, right, to have that. And for you, as a virtuoso, you really present yourself with a lot of thought. Even if if someone disagrees with you, you know what I mean? That at least you put in the thought.
Right.
But for me, yeah, I think that there's something to be said about music that is like this, that is relentless, right? Like it's just, I mean, it's called energy drink, right, or whatever. So, but yet to give it more a sense of calm in other places actually makes the chaos that much more intense, right? If it's just constant, then that's all we're getting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you have like an amazing control. I love to get, the one thing that I'd love to get from you is that articulation that we worked on. It's not consistent,
Yeah.
right? But I gave it to you when? Like Friday. Yeah. It's not enough time. Because I missed it there on the A flat, right on the second line of that page.
Right. Was like the stuff on like the page 6, like the coming away from the double accents a lot and trying to like go, did that come through better than it did?
It was so good, man. It sounded so good in the hall. It sounded so good in here. Seriously, it sounds like you're playing like a MIDI controller sometimes when you do that.
Okay.
Because the resonance is so intense. Let's do some of that and because I want to hear the G sharp, and then I'll help you make a decision.
Okay.
I don't want to make your decisions for you. I just want to tell you what the aesthetic result is as a listener.
Right.
You know, and is that really what you want there? So what do you want to play?
How much of it do you want to hear?
I don't know. You want to start like with like the 4th line, the whole tone scales? Because those were cool.
Yeah, sure.
Dun, dun, dun. Good, except the diminuendo. Did you hear that at the end? The tail of it?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Awesome. The one I wouldn't crescendo on is the trill.
Okay.
You put a little crescendo at the end of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
Sounds great, man. It sounds really good in here. It sounds like really, 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 really good. I'm sorry, so good. So I hope it goes well on your recital. I don't know what's going to happen with this NASA stuff.
Right.
Because your former teacher is like really on my back every day kind of thing. And
He's like that.
yeah, but I mean, the problem is no one at U of T is like that.
Right.
So I sent emails about this months ago, and they just finally said, because I forwarded your teacher's email, James's email, to the people who control the hall, and I was like, he wants to know the date for this Saturday, right? And so they finally got back to me and they said, can it be after Victoria Day? So I don't know, I sent that to James, he didn't write me back. He did write me back, and he was like, what? Are you serious? And I was like, that's U of T. So I'm thinking that maybe it might be better to host this conference from like Geiger.
Okay.
And just not do the hall, or from 3:30. And then maybe I can ask them to ask Peter to set up a real recording setup for it. I don't know what to do, right? Because I don't think James was thinking it was going to be after Victoria Day.
No.
Right? But the hall sounds like it's booked solid.
Right.
Anyway, don't forget what I said about that C sharp, with the growl, right?
Yeah.
And then add it. After an eighth or a quarter, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, man, this is so good. This is really, 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 really good.
It's a fun little song.
Just so you know, going forward, you can watch that video. so I want you to, I don't know how close you're gonna get on that video or how much you're gonna see, but for September, I want you to notice your jaw.
Oh,
Yeah?
yeah.
Do you feel it?
I felt it sometimes.
Okay. Just watch it, and that's what we're gonna fix in September.
Okay.
But the technique and everything that's going on is just fantastic, man. Just really, really fantastic. This I want you to play for all of NASA.
Okay.
Or we use your recording from your recital. All right? No one else has emailed me. How many people are watching right now? Including you? So the people who are in the class aren't even watching the class. Great. Okay.
And just in case, if you're planning to use the videos, if you don't stand right in front of the microphone, then you can avoid being blocked by the microphone stand.
I mean, it's not so.
I'm just saying it goes right over here. I'm just saying, like, we put it in there because it's center of the hall, but like,
Yeah.
if you want, because sometimes what people do when they get on the stage are used, like, we could just direct people one way or the other, but they're not just completely blocked.
I mean, they're not going to be like graded on their video. It's just there for them to say, like, you know.
Yeah, no, but like some people end up just being in the right spot and they just have it.
I'm pretty wide. I'm definitely used to it.
And so, you know, when you guys are doing your presentations, like if you want to be sitting in a room and like recording something, and then you insert part of your playing, and then you say like there, and then you like, you know, I don't know what you're going to talk about or whatever, be like, you know, with multiphonics and stuff like that, and then you're actually, you can still have your horn and still record yourself like, this is this multiphonic, like up close, and here it is into context or whatever, you know what I mean? Like just be creative with what you're doing, it's, you know, talking about or something like that. Or you don't even need your instrument, you know, if you're just going to talk about the history of Brahms or something like that, which is totally possible too, right? Anyway, what are you playing? Oh, fantastic! Oh, where? Hold on. Hold on. This, yes, you are. Yeah, if your mask is on and stuff. Hold on, because guess who just texted me? Max Christie. Yes, I know. Come to the hall. So just wait, let's see what he says. Because he's like, he's in the building, right? Right now. And he goes, my student didn't show up.
No way.
So he's like free in the building.
That's amazing. Because I played this for Tiago yesterday, and he was like, yeah, you've heard Max's recording? I was like, yeah. Like, he would be good to play for, so.
Yeah. Especially if you have a question like about
A lot of things.
like a fingering or something like that, and he's the guy. Okay, then I'll send, his student showed up. I'll send you, can I send him the YouTube link?
Yeah.
And is this what you're doing your presentation on too?
It's between this and Copeland, but I figured this is maybe, I still don't really know, but I have recordings of both now if I do this.
Well, it's good to have options, right?
Yeah.
As I said, like you guys, you have recordings from previous classes and stuff like that. And so You know? But like I said, you're not, and this is for the people at home too, you're not being graded on your playing for this.
So should I wait it all for him, or?
No, he's not, he can't, his student came, so he can't come. So I'm gonna send him the YouTube link and he'll watch it maybe tonight or tomorrow or something. Fantastic. You guys, you're so good. It's really fantastic. I love so much of this stuff. And I really like this piece too. So with this piece, how I'm going to advise you is pretty much the same as what I tell Jack and Chris too with his burial and things like that.
Yeah.
Is that the more you can actually pay attention to the details and not add more than what's written, the clearer the expression is, right? I mean, the virtuosity in this piece is between the articulation and the dynamic.
Yeah.
Not so much between the notes,
Yeah.
right? Even though they're super hard, right? So, yeah, what I would like you to find is an articulation. Well, first we'll talk about articulation, right? For the staccato accent
Yeah.
that is different from the staccato.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you differentiate those notes, regardless of dynamic, right? I know with, Carter doesn't write any of the wedge accents or anything like that, but for Jack, I was advising him to tongue stop when he saw that, right? Just because there were so many different things. Anyway,
Yeah.
so something to consider. Or that it has like more tonguey. Sometimes your staccato is very beautiful and like a note that is short, and I don't hear your tongue, and yet I know you're tonguing.
Okay.
And sometimes I hear too much tongue.
Okay.
And maybe that is the one that I hear too much tongue on. That's the one for that.
For the accent?
For the accent staccato.
Okay.
Right? So that you define that, right?
Yeah.
Now this is going to get really anal. So then we're going to talk about dynamics.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll start with one example, and then we're going to go forward with it. So for example, measure 8. At the end there, at the end of that E, what dynamic did you play?
Probably to like a piano or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Good for you. Right? And so if you want to make the contrast between bar 8 and 9, that you don't actually do any diminuendo, I also thought that your so we'll talk about this too, but sometimes under the slur, especially when the dynamic is changing, I hear you do something with the airstream. Where like you puff the air.
Yeah, I've been told that.
Okay. And well, you see when you do that,
Yeah.
it's like another articulation,
Right.
right? That you're adding. And that could be sometimes under the slur, you see the tenuto on a note or something like that, like the louve for the string players, or portato, right? Under the slur, you see the little dots and stuff like that. But when it's not there, you want to highlight that, right? Because again, there's so much articulation in this,
Yeah.
right? So that was one example. And I think it's also because of the disjunct nature. Like the more disjunct the interval is, the more you do that. Right? So for example, I really heard 3 different air streams at 24 on those 3 notes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also I heard a space before the C. So you dee ha hee ha hee ha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very, very, very smooth. When it gets marcato. So here's where we're going to make our differences. Before every accent deserves a space.
Okay.
And deserves like a lift. And that's how you're going to combat your super legato, sostenuto, with these kind of like marcato accents. So can you play for me at the end of the page 2? You see where I am?
Yeah.
Like just the pick up to page 3.
Okay.
And then, actually what I thought is, so you played this, and you played the A sharp accent there on the first line of page 3, and then the A natural, quite together, then you put a big hole before the B where you took a breath.
Yes.
I would advise you that you can breathe before any of those accents and not breathe there to make the differentiation.
Yeah.
You don't slur it, you tongue it, right?
Yeah.
And then you see how you're starting to reveal Carter's imagination to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, hexachords, and each like set of 6 notes is like the end of a phrase. So I'm trying to figure out where that.
But be careful with. Did you take Solomon's class?
No.
No. Okay.
Just Tiago.
Oh, Tiago. Oh, yeah. Right. Be careful with Carter's process, right, of organization of pitch and the music.
Yeah.
They're not the same. It's like Schoenberg.
Yeah.
You don't. The row or things like or the ordering of the mathematical serialism, the process, does not determine the expression.
So okay.
Is that what Tiago's telling you?
No,
Okay.
but he was thinking like, oh, you can try like phrasing things, like think of like the hexachords when you're phrasing.
Okay.
And so I think here taking a breath before that A sharp would, I think, end that one set from the end of 32 into that. So maybe that would make more sense because that's the first accent.
Okay, sure.
Anyway.
I think for me, every accent, it's possible. Sometimes when I teach my students, I teach them to take a breath each one. So for example, the pickup to page 33 would actually be like, dum, 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 dum. See how I inhaled each one?
Yeah.
To prove that I can and to prove that they all get the same expression. Then when I play it, I don't need all those breaths, I'll hyperventilate, or you end up with too much oxygen, right?
Yeah.
But I'll play them like that and choose the one that makes sense,
Okay.
right? But I think before the A sharp and before the A natural should be the same space. Which one you breathe in, I don't think makes a difference,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But when you do that, so that's what I tell my students is that when you take your breath, it's no longer an apology. I don't notice anymore because it's part of the expression,
Yeah.
right? Because it can be anywhere and you just have all these accents. You know what I mean? Can we try that?
Sure.
And can you make your best attempt even if it goes terribly wrong to make the biggest slur from the B to the F?
Yeah. I was given a fingering that I'm going to also try, because I didn't do that.
Okay. That Tiago gave you.
Yeah.
It's more like a harmonic fingering or something, right?
So I'll try that. I still have to like work it in.
Yeah. No, it's okay. My advice is, one, you got to hear the interval to sing it, and then this seems counterintuitive, but I know it works on clarinet. It works on any reed instrument, right? Or you need to think about the note coming from it from above,
Right.
instead of coming at it from way down below,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is that you tend to reach up for it here, but in fact, this has to stay quite down, and you need to reach up for it inside,
Yeah.
right? Find the inner
Yeah.
height to this note. But what's most important is that you hear the F when you're playing the B, right? And that's just the tritone, right? So that's second year sight singing. I knew that would come back to haunt me. Ah! So you want to try from end of 32? That I want to hear the slur.
Okay.
It sounded exactly the same,
Yeah.
right? And the same thing I told Jack, listen in the hall, if you give your accent, especially when it is forte, which it is, more of the character of a forte piano,
Okay.
more of a sting, you allow yourself more room. See what it sounds like in the hall. Much more sting, much more forte piano. Whoa. Big slur. Yeah! Adriana, that was fantastic.
Yay.
That was so dynamic, right? And Jack, who doesn't see the score. Oh, you do have the score. Pretend you didn't have the score for a second. But like, isn't just what she played? It's just more dynamic. Like, and the same thing. Were you here when I told Jack? Because I can tell you the same thing. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting here and say, and I think that you're wrong. but wow, you had an idea.
Cool. Yeah.
And that to me is really important, right? So that I thought was really fantastic. Okay, and then so going from great, I mean, yeah, you got it, totally. Going forward on the C sharp, when you played last time, make sure that D is super long and forte before it. The C sharp is mezzo forte, but it doesn't come back. You came back from it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you went da, and then to make your crescendo, I would stay right at mezzo, just right into the D sharp.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe because it, again, you make a decision, I'm not sure it's the right decision, but because of the D sharp with the accent and the dot, I might decide to tongue stop that. Da, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have perfect pitch, so I don't know what the C sharp is. And then what comes next at 44, just, you know, the più forte is not as loud as forte, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You play that louder than the G.
Yeah.
Right? So the G is the loudest part of that idea there. You want to try the C sharp for me?
Yep.
Good. And the D, less tongue? What, if I said no tongue, what would I get? That's no tongue? Great. Maybe.
Okay.
Your no tongue is very articulate. It's very good.
I used to anchor tongue, so I think I've been pretty good at the glottal thing.
Oh yeah? And just consider that, you know, because it doesn't have the accent, what am I going to do to make it not accented?
Okay.
Right? Okay, then what comes next? Yes, very, very sostenuto as you can. I didn't understand in 58 what the F sharp was doing under the slur between the F sharp and the G sharp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you have to give it air pressure. It's come back from the D, da, ha, 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 ta, and then real tongue.
Yeah.
What's important is that the B flat, the A, and the E flat are all fortissimo, and then you come down.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like when you change notes, it changes dynamic.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because there was another point. At 15, I wonder if you would lift before the A or something like that. I didn't get the tenuto.
Okay. Yeah.
And almost that, it was like on a different plane. So look at what you played before. It says da 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 dee, da. Like it's going da dee da da da. So it's like suddenly on another plane.
Yeah.
And maybe that gives it the expression that it says.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I didn't understand. Like I didn't understand the translation of what you were doing with what Carter wrote.
Right.
I'm just trying to give you an idea. But think about those moments where articulation changes, where phrase changes, slur changes. You want to show us that. You want to reveal that to your audience.
Yeah.
Right? In the best way that you can. Okay. Where else? Okay, so now we're going to play these long phrases.
Okay.
This is page 4.
Yes.
This surely no change in the airstream between the notes. It's not difficult. 64. Every note until you get to the E, including the beginning of the E, mezzo forte, no change in dynamic.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I hear this?
Yes.
Nice. Very good. Next one. Next line. I think too much. Can you, in piano, can you come down?
Yeah.
And then come down. say, you know, this is actually a perfect example, right? You're watching that, right? For my guys at home, remember when we talked, saxophone players who were watching, and non-saxophone players too, but I have this big thing, and we do it in Brahms, we do it in all our tonal music, because it's normally associated with tonality, but I make them talk to me about what is the difference between diminuendoing to a note and on a note, right? And it's so clear in tonality which one is which when you reach cadence. So like it's good for your Brahms. And here is a perfect example of that, like where Carter's made that decision, whereas he hasn't elsewhere, right? For instance, 2 lines later on the G has a big diminuendo. So and especially for me, when composers know how to write the difference, like it's clear Carter knows what he's doing, right? That he's made this decision. It's great. It's not so clear in Brahms because it's just there, right? The dynamics aren't where they should be. It's a publishing thing. So it's an understanding of the performance practice. Here, it's written out for you. It's great. Anyway, okay. Next one. Good. Can that be slurred? Yeah. Even if it portaments? Good. Hear it? Yes. Hear the note. Come at it from above the note, but low in the jaw.
Sounds good.
That was beautiful. Did that what I said help? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. For me, the brillante a piacere is, I know how hard it is, right? Great technique and stuff like that. It's that you have to kind of fight to make sure that every note is forte.
Yeah.
Right? Here is where I don't want to hear this.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? I want to hear this like,
fully.
That's part of the virtuosity. So
Yeah.
every note the same dynamic.
Yeah.
Can you play it for me slowly? Right. The more, and if you can you get to the A slurred?
It's like the next partial, so I'm not very
Yeah, I
good
know.
at that.
Pretty good. Yeah. I even like the portament.
Yeah.
Right? You hear it in string players all the time, right? When they do shifts and stuff like that. I think we try and avoid that all the time, but I actually think it's quite beautiful.
Okay.
And shows a lot of virtuosity. Okay. So next, paying attention to the dynamics is 93.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, I want you to play it. Sorry.
Okay.
It's the same thing, right, that I'm telling you. Slur. Can you slur? Good. I love it.
Okay.
There I felt the D sharp was equally as articulated as the previous two.
Okay.
Slur. Good. Can you get from the B flat to the? Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. I think that you just don't have confidence.
Correct. Okay.
So again, I'll talk to you and the people at home that how I deal with this with my students is, I told you about my interval exercise.
Yeah, each week is
Every week is a different interval, right? So this one is minor 7th, so that's right, week 10. or whatever, you would do all your minor sevenths and you would be able to slur back and forth. Now, would you be able to go like, oh, no, right? I mean, that's really not part of our technique. But it's deciding, like, how do I negotiate a slur between this note and this note?
Yeah.
And you'll always remember it so that you can use it when you get here. You know? I highly recommend it. And just so I'm honest, right? I mean, it's not my exercise. It was given to me by my teacher, Arno. And my students get disappointed because I fail them, right? They never get to the late intervals because they don't do the smaller intervals properly, well enough. But I never made it through either.
Yeah.
Until I finally finished the exercise when I was about 27. Just so you know.
Yeah.
So like, sometimes a lot of the ideas that I'm telling you, I don't expect you to execute like today or next week. All right? Sometimes it takes like 5 years to marinate. Or at least it did for me. A lot of things, you know, that I learned in my studies. Took me a while. Right. Great, and so then, can we go from, oh no, we'll just continue. Do the same thing, continue. So out of the multiphonic, I want to hear you negotiate this rest under the slur to the G sharp, then the 1, 2, 3 accents with the dot, followed by the ending, and it's the C sharp and the C that I'm listening for how you're going to articulate that at the end, and how it's going to be different from what happened before.
Right.
So you start again for me on the low E and 96. Can that crescendo into the E?
Yeah.
The F needs to crescendo. There was a space.
I was figuring out the fingering. Wait, unless. Yeah.
The E does not sound like the loudest note of that phrase. Just so you know, you're backing away from it. True, Jack? Huh?
Okay. Try to do the long F.
I don't think you're quite. Can you play the B and the C first? Because I'm not sure you're making the F.
And then, okay.
Yeah, and then the E. Great. So this one, as you're working on, I know it's a tough one. I know it's a tough one. And that's what I tell with the multiphonics is that which one is the hard note?
The top one.
Yeah. Right? Can you play me the fingering, but only play me the top note?
What's the problem? I can't.
Keep trying. Trust me. Even just the attempt is going to make you more aware of what that note is in the multiphonic. Good. So it's in the same spirit of some of these high notes, and tell me if I'm right. No, don't tell me if I'm right. Tell me what you're doing. First, tell me what you think you're doing. What makes the high note sound?
It's when I'm kind of like aiming too high with the partial. Like I have to be able to like for when you have like E to high A, like that kind of difference. I have to be able to like not hit like I'm going too hard for that high one, even though I'm trying not to, and then I have to like lower the next partial, go to the next partial underneath for the C sharp.
Okay. Okay. For me, it's that I think that I feel like with these multiphonics, when there's that thing that you're trying to get up at the top, that thing that's floating up there,
Yeah.
that we think that we want to like squeeze.
Yeah.
And that it's counterintuitive. You don't want to squeeze, but you do want somewhere in your airstream. I talk about this now. This could be totally hippie and make no sense whatsoever, but I tell my students for that high partial that you have an airstream that's moving quite slowly to play softly, right? But on top, there's a jet stream, just like there is in the atmosphere. There's a faster moving thing of air that's hovering on top. And it's the one that's going, you know, the baffle of the mouthpiece, right? So it's the one that's going past, and the other one is at the reed, going slow, playing the F sharp. But the other one is going by up top, fast, right? But also, you need to maximize the space that you make for those two airstreams. That's why you don't squeeze. You be open, and you make room for two airstreams.
Okay.
Try again for me.
This is the first time I've gotten it.
I don't know. So it's not so hippie? I'm not so hippie? Saxophone players, take note.
Yeah, I'm putting like a lot of like weight on the teeth.
It's quite open, eh?
Wow. Thanks.
You're very welcome. I'm glad something I said worked. That's the first time. I don't know, and then, great. So you just roll with it. Whatever you did,
Cool.
right, is exactly what you need to do,
Nice.
right? And otherwise, I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I mean, I think it's a fantastic piece. And the more that you can get, more that you can reveal the details that Carter's written, because he has so many things in his bag of tricks,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, it's just a bunch of notes, right? Played by a clarinet.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really make sense. And it's super hard. And I mean, I'll say the same, it's not just this piece, right? I say the same thing about Barrio. I say the same thing about Energy Drink. I say, like, when you get on stage and you play this kind of thing on a monodic instrument, solo, like, you got to do so much,
Yeah.
right? It's so much more work than proms. No, because you have to add all that, you know? It's all that in a bag of chips. But when you do that, and that's why, for me, making you guys play solo unaccompanied works in this class, in the master's program, is so important.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of playing, right? Different from concerto, different from sonata. You see why you have all these requirements? Anyway. Hooray! What time we got? 2:16. I think we're done, unless you want to play anything else. You okay?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, thanks. I'll check my email just in case someone else says, I'm running in right now. Only updated at 1:41. Update. Connecting to the Wi-Fi. That's good. Do you know it's going to be more of a schooling? Yeah. I mean, no one else wants to play, so. Sure. I'll leave this on the table for Cecilia. Do you need me to turn power off or anything? Okay. Low battery? No. Low battery?